Everybody, what's up? Today I'm in our third office location where we hired another doctor to take over this space. I'll show you guys a little bit about what that's going to look like whenever they take it over. But in the meantime, I wanted to talk to you guys about RVUs and contracts. Let's get right into it. We had a wonderful person that we were going back and forth with. And by we, I mean, I guess me and my business partner, mainly me. And you know, what we kind of came to a breaking point in is that if you go to Reddit, everyone says for primary care, if you take less than like $40, $45 per RVU, you're an idiot. And a part of me just kept wondering, how the hell are they paying $45 an RVU when Medicare pays $32 an RVU? And I'm gonna get exactly to how they're doing that here in a second. So if you guys are thinking of signing a contract, you can either learn how to avoid this mistake that I did, or you can learn how to value that contract appropriately so that you can compare apples to apples and know what the hell you're getting yourself into. So what is an RVU? Well, there's multiple different RVUs to make it kind of complicated, but the big one that everyone kind of goes off of is something called a work RVU. It's a little W and then a big RVU. Medicare assigns a work RVU to almost everything, keyword almost there. Medicare will say that a 99214, a medium level follow-up outpatient visit, that's 1.92 work RVUs. A new patient, level 4 visit, 2.6 work RVUs. So when you go back through and you start doing the math, the average primary care outpatient doctor bills for about 5,500 work RVUs per year, supposedly, in basically every online publication you can find. And I'm gonna get it to about how I think that is totally skewed. Okay, let's just assume that you saw nothing but new patients all day, every day. Not realistic, but 2.6 work RVUs per visit. Well, that comes out to about 2,100 visits total for the entire year that you would need to meet that 5,500 work RVUs. Okay, cool. Let's divide that by 48 work weeks in a year, because let's assume you're gonna get at least 4 weeks off for vacation, and maybe there's more PTO. So it might actually be more than this. We're gonna assume 48 work weeks per year. Now you're gonna be sitting at about 44 new patients per week to hit this RVU benchmark. Assuming a 5-day work week, that's 8 patients to 8.5 patients per day to hit the average RVU benchmark. The weird thing is that, okay, you start playing with the math, even if you take it down to like 5 new patients a day and maybe 6 or 7 follow-ups a day, you're looking at like 13 patients per day to bill the average work RVUs per year. Honestly, I've been scratching my head at how the hell they're getting these kind of numbers. And then it kind of hit me. A lot of these places are doing a couple of things dirty with the numbers here. One, did you know that if you go to the Medicare fee schedule website, if you type in the annual physical codes 99385, 99386, 99395, 99396, there's no work RVU associated with that. Nothing. Annual physicals don't count for work RVUs. Not at all. However, for the contract that we were giving our physician, we automatically assigned a work RVU to it. So whenever he was saying that you guys are only paying $30 per work RVU, I was saying, actually, I think this is a pretty good deal overall, but we were counting the work RVUs for annual physicals. And if you go to the Medicare website, they don't actually charge anything or attribute any work RVUs to annual physicals. The other dirty thing that I found out is that these averages are including the part-time individuals, the individuals who may only be working 0.8 full-time equivalents. They're not working 100% of the time. And a lot of times they're only saying what is collected. They're only counting the work RVU if that money's collected. So for example, if you see a patient and that patient never pays for it, you don't get attributed for that work RVU unless it says so explicitly in your contract. A lot of you guys are probably billing for a lot more than 5,500 work RVUs per year, especially if you're doing annual physicals. If you're an employed doctor and you're not getting somehow attributed work RVUs for those annual physicals, you're getting screwed. And I had no idea that this is how I was doing it. And let me tell you, from an employer standpoint, I'm at the fork in the road. Do I try to educate all of our new hires that Medicare doesn't set a fee schedule to the work RVUs, and we're doing the work RVUs, even though we're kind of making it up along the way of saying like, okay, this is what an average follow-up annual physical for a 99395 pays, and we're going to take that pay that we're getting there versus what we normally get for a 99214, and we're going to basically do apples to apples and say that Maybe a 99214 is 1.9 work RVUs. A 99395 is maybe going to be 1.2 RVUs. So basically when this physician came to us and was like, man, y'all's work RVUs look like crap. Yeah, they do, because we're attributing everything that you're doing to the work RVUs, and we're not basically screwing you out of all those free visits for an annual physical. I had no idea that there was no work RVUs associated with annual physicals. So if you're in an employed contract, if it doesn't explicitly state how you're getting paid for your annuals, you're probably getting screwed on your work RVUs. Almost guaranteed. There's always a learning curve when it comes to hiring. And I will say that I've spent probably 40 hours tweaking our contracts and figuring out how we're going to tweak things so that we can hit this magic $45 per work RVU. Because honestly, when we're interviewing so many people, even though we've tried to educate on why we pay differently, and Medicare pays $32 per work RVU, we're not trying to screw them. Actually, at seeing only 17 patients or 18 patients per day, the physician that we hired is seeing over the MGMA average, and how great we are as an employer. Doesn't matter. So many employees out there only care about that $45 number. And that's when I realized that everyone is tweaking the numbers to try to screw every single employee over if they don't know what they're talking about. If they don't know what a work RVU is versus a regular RVU, they're getting screwed. There's a good chance that you're getting screwed, and they're making a lot of money off of you behind the back. So if you're an employed physician, you need a list of exactly what the hell RVU metrics are being calculated for you, and you need to ask if you're getting those RVUs attributed, whether or not that person paid out their copay or the full amount hit the bank account. Because some places are not paying you out unless all that full amount hits the bank account of the business, and that's a dirty, dirty trick. As an employer, you got to be competitive. We are competitive. Hell, we pay better than our competitors in the area, but on paper, the only thing a lot of people care about, especially go on Reddit, everyone's like, oh, you've got to be an idiot if you don't take $45 in a work RVU. Yeah, well, turns out I was an idiot because I didn't know that most places are not even doing the annual physicals and contributing that to a work RVU number. I had no idea. And that's how they're billing for so few RVUs per year, and how our guys are billing for like basically twice as many work RVUs as the average primary care physician. Annual physicals don't have a code with it. You need to ask what year are you being attributed to the work RVU schedule. You need to make sure that you are, as an employer, competitive in this work RVU structure. I know it's crap, but we got to basically take out the annual physicals, and we got to tweak the numbers to get back to $45 per work RVU, so that on paper, those people that care about work RVUs are like, aha, you guys are paying $48 per work RVU. All right, you guys, if you don't know how to compare apples to apples, reach out to me. I'll be happy to look at your contract and look at the average work RVUs, MGMA, and see where you're at. But just know what you're getting into. I can't tell you how many times on Reddit, or even people that applied with us, where we basically go back and forth and politely argue about work RVUs versus RVUs, what is included, what isn't included, and making sure that we're comparing apples to apples, and it seems like your average doctor just doesn't get it. And you know, your employer's trying to make it tough for you so that you don't understand exactly what money you're leaving on the table. Just like many things in medicine, it is a broken system. But if you want me to help you as an employer have your RVU metrics, happy to help you do that. We just hired a doc for this location, and tomorrow at the time of this video, I'm going to tour the other locations on the north side of town. I hope you guys had a great week. I'll see you guys next week. Learn everything you can about RVUs, and I'll be back on the next one. See you next time.